This is gonna be a good show today because let's let you know right now. Spoilers, all spoilers. So if you haven't read the manga or don't intend to read it, and you want to wait for the Netflix adaptation, be my guest. But otherwise, if you don't care, if you already read it and want to experience it with us and Tim, then jump on in here. Otherwise, don't watch this episode. Straight spoilers. Let's get some music. Let's start. We gotta shut this off right. How you doing today, my boy?
Man, I'm good, dude. I'm good.
Hold on, let me push you back. Let me see if I can get you to the screen.
Where are we?
Oh, there we go. Cool.
Here.
All right, we're in there. We are in there.
But yeah, man, I'm ready to get into these because, like, again, after you see the anime where we left off.
Yes.
With Ryan, Corey, and Oma, their fight, man, that was brutal. But like, I was not prepared for how crazy some of this gets, man.
Oh yeah, let's get the intro to make it sound better. No, this intro is godlike. Yeah. Yo, we are back. I hope you enjoy the feed today. I will try to keep it short. We'll try to keep it short and give you as much info as we can. And like I said, pop in and out if you want to. Join us in the chat and let's make it happen. Kengan Ashura, part 4. We about to be in there, y'all. And we'll have a guest later, Everett Jenkins. May make an appearance again. Might join us for the battle. Woo! It was good stuff having him on here last week. But like I said, man, I hope y'all enjoy today. And let's get it. Oh, wait. Hold up. We might have somebody coming.
Uh-oh.
Is Everett coming? Everett! Get in here! This sounds godlike. Oh,
man, the soundtrack to the anime, they knocked it out of the park with it.
He's here! My boy! My boy!
Here we go.
He's back. What is up, my brother?
Oh, we got him?
Can you hear me?
Okay. There we go.
My guy.
Muted for a quick second.
Oh, you're good. Wait, can you still hear me? Oh, hold up.
There we go.
Okay, I had to.
All right.
Let me see.
Yep.
Here we go.
We're good to go.
Good. All right.
Okay, cool.
Well, we are on Kengan Ashura, part 4. Let's get it. Tim, I'll let you take it. From here.
Okay, so last episode I mentioned it already. We ended where the anime ends, which is with Oma Tokita and Ryan Corey's fight, which was it was something.
Yeah, it definitely was.
We see the kind of reuniting, I guess you could say, of Kazuo Yamashita and his son Kenzo after the entire assassination attempt. And that doesn't even close out like the second block of the Kengan Annihilation.
Oh no, we were just getting started.
Yeah, we got several fights still to go, and like the next one that we had coming up that I read in the manga was Takeshi Wakatsuki and Julius Reinhold.
Yes, the Wild Tiger. And I forgot what was Julius's nickname. They don't even tell you Julius's nickname.
He doesn't need one.
Man, that's a tank.
Yeah,
that is a straight
his
tank.
His nickname is the Monster.
Surprise me.
So Julius. So I like how the fight, how they do the information for Julius for Wakatsuki. He weighed 193 and his height was 193 in kilometers.
Yes,
because the dude was doing the information. And he was like, "This ain't right."
He's like, "This is impossible that his weight and height are the same."
Man,
yeah.
And he couldn't believe it. He said, and the dude was like, "Oh, you're the fuck up."
Yeah, and they also talk about how in the manga they talk about how Wakatsuki's muscle density is like 50 times. It's like 52
times
52.
average person.
Yeah, 50
so,
times.
To translate that from 193 kilograms, Wakatsuki weighs 425 pounds.
Jesus.
Yo, did you see when the
muscle too? Man.
Did you see when he was born in the manga? And he was like, the first thing the doctor said was like, "Damn, he heavy."
Yeah, he's like 4 times heavier than a normal baby should be.
I was like,
well, I mean, if you think of muscle density, you're going to be heavier, definitely. But if you're 52 times more dense than the average human, you're gonna be like a boulder.
Bruh.
Boulder.
Like he said, like freaking Wakatsuki weighed a lot, and then he said his muscles, the Kure don't even come close to when it comes to muscles when it comes to Wakatsuki.
Mm-hmm.
So that's saying something.
And then they kind of go into Julius too, and they kind of go in. They show in a couple of panels in the manga about Julius's how he got his strength, which is basically scientifically engineered.
Popping them roids.
It really reminded me of Ivan Drago from Rocky.
Oh, the German dude. If he dies, he dies.
Julius reminds me of Jack Hanma from Baki, because they're both just like roid heads that that are just doing all of these drugs and experiments on themselves just to be able to go toe to toe with everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
And like if it was an average person, they would have killed him. But Julius is not an average person.
No, not at all. And I mean, we saw very, very little of Julius's abilities in his fight with Kiyosaburo Sawada.
Yeah, he didn't have to do much. He didn't have to do much. It was like a leg. He broke his leg and then threw him into the wall, and that was it.
But one thing that I felt was interesting was we kind of get inside Wakatsuki's head in the manga right before the match. He's like talking about how he's like, I'm afraid I'm outclassed here.
Kano said that. Kano told him there were two fighters.
I just told him there were two fighters that outclassed them. One was Ryan, and the other one was Julius.
Yeah, I'd be scared. That's a big ass dude, man. I mean, and then muscles, and you see how Hayama was like, that's your opponent. He was like, rubbish. He said, no muscles compared to mine. Period.
Yeah.
Like, this fight, when I saw it and I saw Wakatsuki take his headphones out, I was like, oh shit, Wakatsuki's gonna fight?
Mm-hmm.
And then pretty much the fight started out. So when they get into the ring, it was just tension.
Yeah. And, we've talked in previous episodes in this series about we've described matches as slugfests. This match right here is a straight out slugfest.
Oh, this is power versus power.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Straight power versus power.
Two big dudes just throwing haymakers at each
other. Oh, man. That was an understatement.
Yeah.
Like, these two fighting? When I told you, I was like, who you think fights next? You said Julius. And I was like,
I thought it was going to be Julius and Sekigahashi for some reason.
I'm not going.
Which, dude, I would not want to see Seki go out like
that.
Julius would have wrecked him.
No,
yeah. Why? Because Sekibahashi's entire thing is he takes all of his attacks head on, and he would not be able to withstand that kind of power.
No,
hell no.
Julius would have broken him.
I mean, even Wakatsuki, I think he would have took. Well, when we get further into this fight, after when he does the move that he does, I don't think Seki could have took the hit either.
Yeah.
So,
then my favorite thing about this fight, it's not even like getting into the fight itself, but when Wakatsuki is out there, you see his hand kind of shaking. He's like, I'm actually kind of scared. Mm-hmm. And then he just grips his fist and he's like, all right, I'm done worrying about that now.
It was like a split second, and when he said that, it was like, all right, let's get it. And then they squared up. When the fight started, it was just a punch, and it like shook the arena.
Yeah, it was very like it was a more realistic Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
They start throwing punches, and in the manga, you're seeing the blast radius basically.
Yeah, the shock waves and everything.
Did you see when they punched each other? It was like they made a nick in their knuckles, and they just looked at each other like, huh.
Yeah, like,
Oh, yeah, the first punch like connects fist to fist.
Right?
Yeah.
So what was interesting about this fight, and I think this is really, really telling about not only where Wakatsuki is mentally, but just how dangerous Julius Reinhold is that at some point in the match, it's fairly early on, if I recall, Wakatsuki is forced to break out a technique that he devised specifically to beat the Fang of Metsudo.
And
that's blast.
And it took He had it. That was a last resort. He had and they was going blow for blow, but pretty much Kano said their muscles are the same. So it depends on the frame, and we see Julius has a way bigger frame than Wakatsuki. When they started out, Jesus Christ, like Wakatsuki was giving blows too, but he was giving more hits than Julius was, but strength wise, Julius was on that. And then we see his technique, the blast core, and that took a blow on
to go back a little bit when Julius and Wakatsuki are doing their first exchange. Mokichi's sister, Elena, when she's watching it, she's like, it's kind of like I'm watching a kaiju movie with two monsters fighting each other.
I do remember.
Yep. And then they showed them like Wakatsuki was about to hit Julius, and Julius was about to hit down on Wakatsuki. No.
It's really interesting too how completely devoid of personality Julius is. Where like something terrible, like I mean, if I remember right, during this fight, something gets broken or he gets a serious injury and he just kind of looks at it and goes, and like that's it.
Yeah.
There's nothing there.
It wasn't the blast core because
it wasn't blast.
He took the blast core and ate it.
Yeah. No, actually, when he took the blast core, he actually like knelt down because he was like, what did I just get hit by?
Yeah. And I think he does note that if Wakatsuki had been just a little more precise and hit a vital, Julius was done for.
That says Wakatsuki.
Yeah.
Oh, so Muteba was getting buns while watching this fight.
He was.
Because like, who do you think is gonna win? He was like, I don't know. He's like, no, I want Julius to win. He said, I said, who do you think's gonna win, dumbass? And he said, well, I mean, both of them are strong.
Yeah.
Julius ass because
he would be easier to deal with because Julius is a meathead compared to Wakatsuki.
Oh yeah.
He can't really fight outside of what's directly in front of him.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, he's kind of like
he's a tank.
Yeah. He's what I think of as the comic book character Superman. Superman doesn't need martial arts or anything. All he needs to do is just punch it until it stops. And
right.
Man, because and then like when he took the blast core, he threw Julius. I know he threw Wakatsuki in the wall. He like grabbed it and grinded his face on the arena.
Yeah.
Like, and then all it took though for this fight to pretty much end, and then Wakatsuki was having visions about when he saw Kano. He says, "You're still a tiger cub." And then he was like, I'm not about to lose. He said to himself, I wasn't about to come out unscathed. I already knew that. He already knew that. And then you see the image of him fighting Kano, and he was like, you're a tiger cub. And then he was like, I ain't about to lose this.
Yeah.
He's like, I've worked all this time specifically to beat the Fang of Matsudo. I cannot lose here.
Oh no, there was a lot of determination in that fight. And it took it was like a point blank range kick to finish.
Yep.
Well, and that's also what leads into that is, and this is for someone like me who doesn't know how this is supposed to end. Wakatsuki gets caught in the bear hug.
Yeah.
By Julius. And I mean, theoretically, he could have snapped Wakatsuki in half.
Oh yeah.
But that's when he tries to use blast core again, but he diverts it into his foot.
Yep.
You need to get out that bear hug. Oh yeah, that.
I'm pretty sure that's what ends.
And then when Wakatsuki's in the wall and Julius is charging him, you see Wakatsuki scream blast core, and then the difference what made the difference was tactics, because he knew Julius would be mindful of the blast core, so he diverted his attention with it and then just kicked him in the head.
Yep, and that was the end of it.
Because you saw him go down. But I like how Hiyama was like, Julius, but he's not a total meathead. He said he studied like physics because he had to build up his body. He studied physics, like the anatomy of the body and everything. And you see Julius reading a book in his drawers, like, okay. That's how you do that? Well, the neck bone goes to the hip bone. Okay, cool.
Totally fair to describe him as a meathead, but the problem is that his approach is meathead.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He doesn't need to think. Like
you don't need to.
He don't need to have power. He doesn't need to think to really do. He ain't got to come up with no tactics like other fighters would have to. Mm-hmm. He has to actually think about. He don't have to think. He just bulldozes everything.
But then after that fight is over, we see a little more backstage kind of stuff going on, and we see that Toyo Electric Power, they're starting to lose their grip. A lot of their fighters are already knocked out.
All their fighters are knocked out. No, Ren got beat by Setsuna. Yeah. Julius just got beat by Wakatsuki, and Meguro got killed by Muteba.
Yep. Karo Yoshinari lost to Sapang.
I can't wait to get. I'm a scheming, bro. Like I feel bad at anybody who had dealings with him and they got screwed over because he was just pretty much just like that's Hiyama.
Well, what we're discovering and what I'm discovering as we read through this, his word doesn't mean anything.
Nah, his word.
He says, "Oh, if you fight for me in the Kengan Annihilation, yeah, I'll save your village. Yeah, I won't bulldoze these docks and put up condominiums or whatever, or put up whatever.
I won't take Disneyland down and put a refinery.
But the truth is, yes, he will.
Yes, he's will.
He's going to do it whether you win or not.
Pretty much, like you can't trust him. So we see a little conversation before the next fight between Gandai and Iwami Industries, Muteba's boss and Seki Bayashi's boss, and pretty much. Toga's like, all right. Obo was like, well, Toyo Electric Power's out. He's like, I don't care about them. They worried about Nogi. Nogi's the one they need to really be worried about because he's getting power. And then Wakatsuki and him they're in this, I guess, this faction called the Four Dragons. Mm-hmm. So he was like, he's like, if Nogi wins the tournament, he'll nominate him already. So he's already got a leg up on everybody in the tournament. So she wanted to. Him and Seki was Shinkano. She wanted him to team up with him, but work under him.
You talking about the girl with the like Joker smile?
Yeah, her.
I can never remember her name.
Toga. Toga.
Oh, yeah.
It's like Tomo something.
Yeah, Tomo. She pretty much wanted him to work under her. And he was like, "You're getting kind of big for your britches." Mm-hmm. And he said, "All right, I knew that was going to happen." So she said, pretty much, whoever wins this match between our fighters will be the leader faction. So they're trying to get their own faction so they can dethrone, pretty much get more power in their favor for the chairman spot from Nogi. So the next fight.
This is a Clash of the Titans moment.
This was a good fight.
And in true like wrestling fashion, Seki Bayashi just comes out playing games.
Oh, there's something that we actually forgot to mention.
What's that?
More backstory is you see Muteba actually going under the knife because Tomari wants him to test something out.
Oh, it's eyes?
Yeah.
It's like cybernetic eyes or something.
Yeah.
That's gonna play a big part in the next.
He's gonna look like Bato from frickin' Ghost in the Shell.
I seen that dude. You know,
still haven't seen it?
No, I seen the dude you were talking about when I showed you those voice actors.
Yeah, Bato. Yeah,
I seen that.
Oh, you got to see it, man. Ghost in the Shell's a classic.
I'm gonna have to definitely check that out.
But so what's interesting about this, and again, I grew up watching pro wrestling.
Same.
My brother's a big fan. My best friend is a big fan, and Seki Bayashi does something that you see every so often in pro wrestling in real life. He comes out and he's dressed in like this clown makeup. Mm-hmm. Marvelous Seki. And Kaneda is watching the match with a couple other people, and he notices this. And he's like, "Oh, this is not Seki Bayashi. This is Marvelous Seki.
His alter ego.
Yeah, it's his deathmatch style.
Woo!
So I mean, clearly this is showing like Seki Bayashi is actually taking this as a very serious fight, and he actually does mention, like Kaneda does. He's like, Marvelous Seki's style is completely different from Jun Seki Bayashi. You might as well not even consider them the same person.
And then they had the nerve to get the substitute Marvelous Seki in for they used their substitute for the company and they substituted him in. It's like Ray was like, they're gonna waste their substitution on this. And then Muteba was like, what the fuck? He's like, He's like, bruh, how long you about to go on with this farce? And I like his respect for Sekibashi before the fight because they square up.
Oh yeah, and he's Sekibashi or Seki. We'll call him Seki because he's not the same person.
Yeah, I forget he's not Sekibashi.
He's pro wrestling, man. He is showboating.
Oh yeah,
I mean he's working the crowd, as they call it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And I think a part of that too was to try to like throw Muteba off,
which it wasn't. It could have,
but it couldn't have. And honestly, we see this in the very beginning of the fight. I'd say the first quarter of this fight.
Yeah.
It kind of worked.
Yes.
Because Seki pretty much dominates the first quarter of this fight.
Oh, yeah.
He is just throwing chops. He's throwing
backhands. And you see the wrestler that he wrestled. I forgot his name, but he said, the stupid Merc, he was like, these punches ain't no normal punches.
The sumo wrestler.
Yeah, the sumo wrestler. I forgot his. Yeah,
Taizan.
He was watching.
Kyozan. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it was. And he was watching the match, and he was like, stupid Merc. He was like, stupid mercenary. These ain't no normal punches because Seki was throwing blows.
Mm-hmm. He was just throwing haymakers too.
Yeah.
But then, again, as a wrestling fan, I was so like geeked out when he goes for the DDT, the old Jake the Snake Roberts DDT.
Oh yeah.
But Muteba blocks it. He doesn't block it, but he lessens the impact because he lands on his forearm instead of getting his head crushed into the sand.
Because I think he'd have been
dead.
Mm-hmm. But he lessens the impact of it and basically rolls Seki over and goes for the mount.
Yeah, he does go for the mount.
Mm-hmm.
He definitely does go for the mount.
Sekibashi kind of reaches up and in a move that completely mirrors what he did to Masaki in the first round, pops his eardrum with his thumb. Just straight in and out.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, he got him good.
Yeah. And the nice thing is they also flesh out Sekibashi's like style. It's like he does take every attack, but he takes every attack as safely as he can.
Yeah. I believe in wrestling they call that taking a bump. Is what it's called, taking a bump, and that's why like when people say like, "Oh, pro wrestling is not real," you'd be surprised how many of those dudes have painkillers upon painkillers on standby because those bumps are real.
Yeah,
they are not coming out unscathed, but they're taking the hit without debilitating themselves.
Oh no, they're not. They're not going all the way out. Like I said, Seki played it. He's acting.
Yeah,
he's playing it well though because it came. He broke his eardrums.
Mm-hmm. Well, one of them.
Mm-hmm. One of them.
Yeah, I forgot he didn't break both of them.
Yeah, this severely handicaps Muteba at first
because he goes by sound.
A lot. Mm-hmm. It's like echolocation, like Daredevil.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then he's immediately able to readjust out of here and out of one ear, and then he starts gaining the upper hand again after that.
Yeah, because he takes to the boxing style.
No, he tries to go for an eye gouge. Remember, there's a couple. The first time
he does it like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah,
and Seki wasn't going like he.
Yeah, he took it safely. He slightly tipped down, and then he ruptures his other ear.
Yes. Yeah, he pretty much deafens him completely.
Oh yeah, Seki did good.
So after he ruptures that other ear, Muteba finally lands like the one poke to the eye. But that's where he ends this fight because up till now he's been convincing Seki to take the eye poke, and so when he gets ready for it, he's focused on it. But at the same time that he goes for the eye poke, he diverts it and hard jabs Seki.
There's actually something that we forget to mention, and then Sekibashi headbutts Muteba and takes away his sense of smell, and so it seems like Muteba is completely deaf and blind. He can't see, he can't hear, he can't smell, and then he tries to go for a kill, and it looks like Muteba's like wandering around like he doesn't know where he is anymore. And then he hurts Sekibashi really bad. I forget the attack that he does. And then Muteba's like, "What do you think of my acting?"
Yeah.
Oh
Because then we think that for a short second there after that heart jab, we're left thinking Sekibashi's dead.
Mm-hmm.
Damn near he took a mighty blow, because I like how the tactics Muteba played into that.
Mhm.
Basically, he had him focus on the eye jabs and then leaving. I guess I like the explanations they do for Kengan.
Yeah.
Saying everything,
And
he basically his muscles were not not tense enough for the heart.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't tense enough for the heart jab. So he took his focus off of that and heart jabbed it.
Yep.
What's interesting about this too is that Sekibashi stands up before they can call the match. Sekibashi stands up, and Muteba kind of has his back to him. He turns around, kind of like, "You can't be serious.
You're back up."
Yeah,
Seki's resilient.
Yeah, he is. But this fight finally ends for real when, out of respect, Muteba pins him in the style of pro wrestling.
His body's
but it was already over because Sekibashi was able to get back on his feet, but he passed out because that was all he could do at that point.
Right.
Yeah.
And then out of respect, Muteba like wrestles him to the ground and then gets a 3 count. Out of respect for him.
And Seki I like how he had a flashback about his master, because he said, I will always be hooked on. They showed his master, his senior, and then he showed Haro. And now, remember, like, he used to be a bully. He used to beat up people and stuff. And then wrestling changed his life forever. And I like the flashback. They go back to that. That was dope. That was really good. Telling a little bit about backstory for him.
And I was thinking about this too, and people watching, or any of us. You know who Sekibashi reminds me of in the way that he's built, and like his hairstyle. He reminds me of Davey Boy Smith, the British Bulldog. Because at one point, British Bulldog had these weird braid things in his hair, and it looks like Sekibashi.
I thought the makeup reminded me of Sting.
I can see that.
I was thinking, but not the build. Seki's huge. Sting is big, but Seki's
not that big.
No, he's not that big. No. Not that big.
No.
Yeah, Sting's a big guy, but that's like the makeup did remind me of that. I was like, oh, I had to think about that. But that match ended. I like that because he didn't have to kill.
So if you're watching it, I'm going to show you a picture of Davey Boy Smith, and that kind of reminds me of Sekibashi.
Oh yeah,
sure does.
Yeah. So it's not a dead ringer, but you can see that it's inspiration.
It is.
And
the in fight was good. I would, like I said, I'm thinking Seki was gonna come out, but Muteba, he's a mercenary.
Yeah, but also one thing that was interesting too is that you see that Muteba is not completely without respect for his opponent.
He don't have to kill him.
Now Masaki,
that was different.
Masaki was totally different.
Nah, he had to kill him.
Yeah,
because Masaki was out 2 kills specifically.
No, all his stuff he did that. If this fight was like Muteba, if it was like Seki's fight, then I think he would kill him.
Yeah.
And it's a background thing too. I really like when Muteba says this. He's like, I might be an assassin, but I am not a serial killer. I do not kill needlessly.
Yeah.
Yes.
He says you have to beat your opponent with little to no effort. Little to minimum effort as much as possible. Taking little damage. I mean, you could take damage, but he just wanted to. He said, my job's no different than it is on the battlefield. In this match, I'm trying to beat my opponent with little to no effort.
Yes. So then we get into some more behind the scenes stuff going on, and this one stings a little bit. This one hurts because we start talking about Saw Pang and some of the things have now learned.
Man, his Kiyama, man. So basically, the Village of Dawn was in danger of getting bulldozed because Kiyama said the government had to knock it down, and I was like, oh yeah, the government. And I'm like, I think that's messed up. I was like, they making deals with the devil pretty much.
Yeah.
When they dealing with them. So Saw Pang.
More like the devil is like forcing them to take the deal.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Basically. So Saw Pang overhears his grandfather, or presumably his grandfather. He calls him Gramps.
Yeah.
Talking with it's not. I don't think it's Hayama himself, but it's a representative from Toyo.
Oh yeah, it was. Oh no, I thought it.
Saw Pang overhears the conversation that they're talking about.
Yeah. So he overhears basically that the village is going to be leveled.
Saw Pang doesn't
if
win.
Saw Pang doesn't win, and not just this match, but wins the whole enchilada.
And he has to win the entire block.
Yeah,
and then with the fighters in there, not to say like we saw the first match, Saw Pang he's no slouch.
No, definitely.
But his opponent, because you notice these two fighters, Wakatsuki and Ray, didn't have to really fight. They didn't do it. Their first fights were one and dones.
Yep.
Wakatsuki actually had to fight, and his opponent, Ray, Mikazuchi, the Lightning God.
And then they get, the manga then at this point diverts backward to showing a little bit of Ray's backstory and how he was, and he was cold-blooded too. He was just slaughtering people, or at least from what I recall.
He just makes
he was an assassin, and you see him like in this forest, severely dehydrated, going crazy because he's been awake for several days, just trying to master this martial art. And then you see a lightning flash, and then he hits his grandfather in the throat with an attack, and his grandfather's like, the Raishin style has been passed down. It's yours to do whatever you please now.
Yeah.
And so then we see how he met Reno.
Yo, I would have met Reno like that too. Like your panel. Yeah. He goes in the room and he has the mask on. She says, "Oh, I have a guest. You're here to kill me." And I was like,
and she's caked up, man. She's
had the boobies on fleek. Yeah, the movie was out. She had this little 90 on. Yeah. And then Ray was like, "I discovered love."
Ray's like, "I don't think I want to kill anymore."
Yeah. Like 2 years later, he's playing cards with her, and the maids were like, "I like this Ray. He's more." When he first met him, when he first came, he was all like mechanical. He didn't seem like he was human. Now he seems more human than ever.
So then we get to Ray and Saw Pang's fight. This is Lethwei, the basically Myanmar's version of Muay Thai, and Shin style.
Now before the fight too, Saw
Pang is actually, when the fight starts, he's not yelling. He's like, "I promise I'll win." He just says it plainly, and Gao Long is like, "This is undesirable."
Oh man!
The
fight. He said his demeanor might change, but he said, "Be on your guard." He pretty much told Saw Pang, "You got to be on your guard. This is the real deal."
Yeah.
There's no joke. The first match, he didn't really fight. Now we get to demonstrate what the Ryzen style can really do.
Yeah. See, this is where my memory starts to get a little blurry because my brain has been pickled with booze over the last. So, if I remember correctly, Saw Pang kind of just gets wrecked this match.
So the thing about it is, as the fight's happening and Ray's just like doing all of these hard hits, he notices that Saw Pang is taking all of the hits, but he's not taking a lot of damage. And Gao Long goes, "I don't know if you realize this or not, Saw Pang, but you have the advantage in this fight."
Oh yeah,
and then
advantage.
Yeah, because Saw Pang can take a lot of punishment.
And like Ray was doing little hits. You gotta do big damage because his body is built tough, pretty much like a fool. Yep. And he take his body pretty much after damage. He's like a Saiyan from DBZ. Like the more they fight, the body gets in the sense. So he has a real refined body. So Ray was going in and like when he tried to do the flash like he did in Nezu, and that shit didn't work. And he looked and he turned around. All you see is Saw Pang's foot coming towards his face.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he starts Ray starts stepping in too close because he's trying to get a solid blow on him.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm expecting you to try to get in. And then he delivers the headbutt of Burma, but he misses, and you just see this gigantic crater in the ground.
Oh, yeah. Ray would have lost. Right there. He even said
Yeah,
it.
if he took that, he would have lost.
Oh, yeah.
I believe Kawan even says it too. He's like, if
Mhm.
it's within range of that headbutt again, and it connects, this is all over.
And as the fight progresses, he was still taking blows. And I feel bad for Saw Payne because he was having flashbacks of the village. He's like, I gotta win. And this fight was definitely, he had a lot riding on this fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you see Ray counters the headbutt once, and it leaves Sawpang reeling, and then Sawpang does it again, and he gets countered again, and then that's it.
Yeah.
That I felt bad because he was injuring Ray's leg. He was going for low blows to like kind of slow down his mobility. Ray's fast. So
that's Ray's entire fighting style, is that he is fast.
Yeah.
Yep. And then you see a weakness of the Raishin style in this fight is because the Raishin style is more geared towards assassination. It's not a legitimate martial art yet.
Yeah, it's for one guns.
Yeah, it's just for one hit kills. And he was like, I'm going to have to do a complete overhaul of my system because I got to figure something out because I can't beat these opponents.
Like this, he did a nice little combination on Saw Payne a couple times. He was hitting certain vital points, but it wasn't working against Saw Payne.
It very much reminds me of Yohei Bondo. I can't beat these guys. That's what it sounds like to me.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But the end, and this was a bad, and I felt bad, and because Kowloon don't know what went on in the scenes, and when we see Payne lose, he was like, I can't fight no more.
Yeah,
and I've never seen Kowloon get shitty until
he was livid. He was like, I can't believe I considered you a rival. Don't ever show your face in front of me again.
Yeah, and he told Kaneda to but he didn't know what was going on. He said he told him he was saying like you could just refine your stuff for the next time. He said, I can't fight.
There's not gonna be a next time for me.
Bad for Saw Payne. And then, sorry.
No, go ahead. I mean, that was a really heartbreaking moment, especially the panel you see of Saw Pang, and he's sitting, and he's just got his head hung, and you can't see his face. He's mainly silhouetted, and it's just really sad.
And then
he was just so utterly defeated.
And then they talked about Gramps talking about his brother fighting in the Kengan matches too. He died, and he was a fighter for him, and he just after his last fight, he collapsed. And he said, no, he's like, I'm going to win, Gramps. And then he asked Kiyama, well, what do I need to do? What do you need to do to build this? He said, that's a stupid question.
Yeah. He's like, if you want to save your village, you got to win this entire block.
I said, but in the next block, I mean, Ray's next opponent, we get to the next fight. Woo! The next fight was cold. I forgot they was next. Because my boys after that. We get to the crazed Setsuna Kiryu versus
the Devil Lance.
The Devil Lance.
Oh my God.
This is where I get hyped. This fight, we get to see what Kuroki can really do.
Yeah, because his first fight wasn't even a fight. Because let's be honest, as much as I like Rahito as a character, he was way outclassed.
That's what I like about him. Like even his name wise, because he's called the Superman or the Superhuman, and he's just so vastly outclassed by everybody there.
I felt bad. Like when Ryan told him that, I felt really bad. And Kuroki's no pushover. So I like at the end panel when we get to the fight where Setsunu's pissed because you remember he's still peed after Omo won his fight, but he didn't win using advanced.
Yeah, he won using the Nico style.
He's fuming there.
And then the dialogue between the two, Kuroki Gensai was like, "You used the Koei style. You killed my friend." He's like, you killed my friend. I'm gonna have my revenge.
And then Setsuna looks up like, huh?
He's like, who are you? I'm in a bad mood.
I'm pissed. I was like, he started off the fight. This is one no Ren Nakaido fight. This fight started off straight uppers. Like he charged straight at Kuroki as soon as the fight started.
Yeah.
It wasn't no thing. He's charged straight at him. He's already mad. So we get to see, and I like Kuroki's stance.
He enters a like a cat foot stance.
Yes.
And then everybody's watching, and like when Kiryu is doing his first onslaught using the blink trying to get into Kuroki's blind spot, Jerry Tyson is like, there is nobody in this tournament that can beat Kuroki.
Period.
Yeah, Jerry. Yeah.
The
smart thing Jerry Tyson said.
God, like the stance. And he said he's not going, he didn't move from that spot. Kuroki took the stance and he was parrying everything. Raksasha palms was coming out left and right.
Yeah. And I think around this time, it's pretty early on in the fight where they start talking about Setsuna's backstory.
Man,
right?
I told you.
Yeah.
Backstory was wild.
Yeah. Kiryu's backstory is insane.
Because I'm not an idiot, I knew that Setsuna's backstory was going to be something, something sad and messed up.
It was.
I wasn't really ready. It was really.
I told you his backstory. His back. So he was pretty much born in like his dad. He was born in like
he was born at an organ farm. Basically.
Yeah. Like his father literally just got like a prostitute pregnant so he could have a kid so he could farm their organs to save himself.
Yeah.
Oh, and
there's a movie that's based on a real life situation about
Ain't
that called My Sister's Keeper.
What the hell?
The sister was sick, and so they had another kid specifically to use her organs as replacements.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's based on a real story, but either way, it's the same concept. Basically, Setsuna was born specifically as an organ farm. For his father. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he was wild, and then the mom used to beat him. She was out of him every day. I said, "Yo."
And then it was time for Kiryu to be harvested, and then lo and behold, Oma is just in there trying to get food for himself, just trying to survive, and he just, without even thinking about it, saved Kiryu's life.
He did, but he didn't bat an eye at Setsuna while he was in, and then that's when the obsession starts. My is here because pretty much Setsuna didn't value life. He was like, I'm born. I'm doing this. Yo,
he was like, I'm here to like be punished essentially, and he just assumed Oma was God just coming there to punish him.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
It was wild, and so like at a certain age, he was trying to find Oma. It was like a year later, and he became a male prostitute. And I said, "Oh Jesus Christ!"
16.
Yeah, it was about 14 years before he learned the Koei style.
Yeah,
he had a flashback because he went back. But he was basically everything that he did. He killed his dad, robbed his dad. He killed the lover that actually did care about him, like really actually legit cared about him. And then he was like, I'm getting closer to my God. And then he kills the lover.
For trying to going after Oma.
And then he finally finds Oma. Lo and behold, but
that's way later stuff. So we shouldn't try to talk about too much of Kiryu's backstory because it'll give away a lot of details that aren't known yet.
Yeah. So once we flash forward to present of him, putting in work on Kuroki, doesn't he see like a phantom of Miko like over Gensai's shoulder? And he's using Blink, but he figures out relatively fast that Kuroki knows Blink.
Yep. He's like, that will not work on me. And then Kuroki goes to attack him, and he gets flipped, and he lands on the ground. And he's like, and then Kuroki gets back up, and he's like, you know the Nico style, don't you?
Did he do Flash Foot? What's the...
No, he did Weeping Willow.
Weeping Willow, yeah, that's what it was. And then he started doing the footwork that Oma was doing. Kind of like Hinaba's too, a little bit with the catwalk thing. When he was, he's kind of like... He did the Raksasha palm in rotation with Blink. Because he said it to get the full effect of the Blink and Raksasha palm, you got to pretty much, you got to do Blink.
Yep.
What is really interesting too is I think when at some point in there they show a flashback with Kuroki Gensai and Genzan, who was Setsuna's
Mm-hmm.
And Setsuna,
They're in a bar drinking together.
yeah. And Genzan's basically talking about how, like, I've devised this style, but I only have 2 techniques perfected.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, if I pass down only 2 techniques to this kid,
Yeah.
and he talks about how he's picked up a student
Mm-hmm.
kind of on a lark, just decided, why not? And that student is Kiryu Setsuna.
I like it when he trained.
And then Kuroki's like, again, what is his name?
Kengan?
Genzai. He's like, Genzai, you chose the wrong student.
Man,
Yes.
Nico got the right one.
Uh-huh.
Nico got. What if it was tables was turned? Like, what if pretty much Setsuna and Oma had the same life, but they didn't. They were both willing to survive, but Oma was actually fighting.
If the roles were reversed, Oma would have died early on, because you see in the Gaiden, he got his life saved by Nico, because at that point he was just outclassed and he was perfectly fine with dying, and Nico was like, you show promise, I don't want to like let you die, I'm gonna train you. So like if the roles were flipped, Oma would be dead right now, and I don't think we would have a story.
This is true.
Or we would just have a really, really messed up story where Setsuna's
Setsuna's already jacked up now. Like, so as the fight progresses, he's getting sharper with his moves. But Kuroki said it. He was Kuroki was on point. Kind of like there's nothing, like he's already caught on.
And then you start seeing Kiryu develop new Rakshas palms. He used the Rakshas Soul, where he uses the Rakshas palm with his foot, and he just like starts kicking up gravel and stuff like that to try to distract Kuroki.
Oh yeah,
he does another one with his palm, or not his palm.
In his like fingertips, where he makes the true Rakshas palm.
But then
he like makes the rotation even smaller.
Yeah.
But at that point, it doesn't do anything. Kuroki just parries the true Rakshas palm and then hits him in the chest, like stabs him in the chest, and like tries to hit his heart, and then that ends the fight.
Yeah. What's interesting about that though is that I think they note, I can't remember who it was, but somebody watching the fight notices it's Hanafusa. It's Hanafusa. He's watching this. And I think he realizes like the reason that Setsuna's not dead, because Setsuna gets up and walks away from it.
It's Ichiro that does, because he knew Gensai knew that Kiryu wasn't dead, and Ichiro goes, "Oh, that's because he used Raksha's palm on his own heart to like move it so he doesn't get stabbed in the heart."
Yeah.
Good move on Kiryu's part, because he got the devil, but we got to see the final devil lance. We got to see the devil lance though, because he actually didn't. He showed it, and then after the fight, he says, go to hell
He's like, tell Gensan I said hi from hell.
Yeah. He says apologize to Genzan in hell. Yeah. I love that line.
Kuroki was dope because he told something. He called him boy. He kept calling him boy.
Oh yeah, there's a part where he actually scares Kiryu. Like he makes this super scary face. He's like, "Know your place, boy."
Yes, he does.
It's a whole splash panel of his eyes. Gensai's eyes are just huge.
Yo, Kuroki wasn't playing.
No.
Yeah, he was angry.
Oh no, he was pissed.
But he also didn't have the luxury of playing around in this fight. Not like he did.
But did you see? Kano said he had to force Gensai to pretty much kind of retreat and fall back a little bit.
Yep.
So basically, he pushed a dude like Kiryu pushed Kuroki against the wall.
You can't say like a dude like Kiryu, because even though Kiryu is insane, he's still a prodigy.
No, he's still dope.
Yeah, he was developing new techniques and everything in that fight.
No, he was good. Like he did a new Raksasha's palm in mid fight.
Yeah, it's the fact that Setsuna is a truly dangerous individual.
No, and Kuroki said it too. He said he's already lost his mind. His humanity's gone. He's like, he was doing good, but you kept seeing his making that face that he makes when he goes in, like with his eyes. They just show the eyes.
It's not really advanced, but there's something about the way he's drawn that takes on a different
persona,
a different form.
Yeah. Where it looks like he's even skinnier and he's constantly drawn like shadowed out and everything.
Yeah, and you see his eyes.
Mm-hmm.
That was a good fight. Oh, so we get to the next fight. We see Rihito kept calling him Karaoke Master.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, I'm telling you, he's like, stop calling me that.
Hey, persistence is key. Cause, well, I mean, if you were to get trained by Karaoke, out of everybody in this tournament, there's probably like maybe 2 people I would get trained by. If I were to get trained by anybody, it would have been definitely Karaoke. You chose the right person to call.
Yeah.
I'll get trained by Karaoke too. Karaoke gets side.
Yeah.
I like that he was just talking, and he says, "Did you see what happened in the match?" He said something. He says, "You're an amateur." He said, "How come the Roxasha's palm didn't do much to your shoulder?" He said, "After I injured it, the power got halved."
After he injures Kiryu's hand,
his right hand, the power got halved. So I like the little panel with that. That was funny as hell, man.
I forgot he devil lances the Raksha's palm and is actually in Kiryu's hand, and Kiryu breaks his fingers while his fingers are still inside of his hand.
Because after that match, he tells Rihito, he's like, you got to practice every day, even if your hand's all jacked.
Oh, and that's why he's a master. That's why I want you to get trained by Karaoke. That's no doubt.
But this is also when he doesn't necessarily take Rihito on because he persisted.
Yeah.
Like, don't call me master. Don't call me master. He's like, but if you want to watch my fights, you're free to do that.
He's like, okay. I was like,
you could tell he was starting to warm up to Rihito at that point.
Yeah.
Which is another interesting thing, too, because he's another character. Karaoke is another character that, up to this point, doesn't really have a whole lot of range of emotion. He's pretty callous, pretty stony.
Yeah. So that was definitely a good fight. The next fight is my boy. We get to see the floating cloud
once again.
Yes, but his opponent now.
We don't know who his opponent is just yet.
Yes, Tim. I know you will.
It's at the last second we figure out who it is. I was like, man, really?
But I like how before the fight, Nogi comes out because you remember before Nogi's kind of hesitant to have Hatsume as his representative fighter
because he's
half-assed.
He's not very reliable
or motivated.
Yeah.
But you got to give credit where credit's due. When we got to see Hatsume fight the first time, he went ham.
Yeah.
And then Nogi was like, man, he's half because they had a flashback about him in the office. He was like, I'm gonna go out of town. He was like, I'm about to go on a getaway, go chill in the mountains. I'm not training, but I'm about to go chill. He's like, we really need you. He's like, don't worry. We said we're gonna win the tournament.
And doesn't Nogi be like, are you going to my house?
He was like,
yeah, just call the manager ahead and just let him know I'm going to be there.
He's so that's why I love Hatsume. But he told Nogi when Hatsume came out, he said, yeah, he might be half-assed at certain stuff, but when and I like how they give Hatsume praise when he's competitive as hell.
Yeah,
Hatsume's competitive.
Now during the fight, and we'll get to the fight, but during the fight, somebody who I believe this might have been Hanafusa or it was Nogi, I don't recall. But they say like nobody who doesn't work hard on anything will waste energy. Basically saying like Hatsume's never really worked hard at anything.
Oh, that's actually in the fight. And that's Sekibayashi talking about him.
He fought Seki.
Yeah.
He fought Seki too. I forgot.
So when Hatsumi is like running around and he looks really scared, and then Sekibayashi's like, I've never been able to get a good read on Hatsumi. It's like we got into like an argument when we were like out drinking a long time ago, and we started fighting. And then he got knocked over by Hatsumi, and he was like, that is the first time I've ever been like down by somebody that smaller than me.
That much smaller than me.
Hatsume ain't no joke about the opponent. We got to see Bando. I'm not gonna lie, I thought Bando, when I saw the panel, I see the arm, I was like, well, who's he fighting? Bando shows up.
And of course, Hajime Hanafusa's watching, and he's like, basically he's just like, "Are you kidding me?"
I killed him.
Yeah, I killed him. It was like if he's back, that means he could have only been saved by another doctor. And then you see Hanafusa's like boss holding up a sword to the owner of the pharmaceutical company, and he's like, "You better tell me what the fuck is happening right now."
He said, "Well, basically,
he's like, I run a pharmaceutical company. It's my job to cure people.
Doesn't matter if they're serial killers or murderers or rapists. He needed help, so I cured him." I was like, "Ooh." So we got to see Bando do a little stuff, but we didn't get to see him nothing specific. So yeah, like you said, when Hatsume gets serious, because he had to get conditioned.
Yeah.
So the fight starts out, he just charges Bando.
Mm-hmm.
Unlike him, and I think multiple people in the panels say like it's not like Hatsumi to just charge in directly like that.
And of course, Hatsume's got a motive. He's not doing it just to be doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Because Bando raises up his right hand like he's about to do a karate chop, but he's like at like distance. And Hatsume said before, in the beginning, he said, "This is the worst possible matchup for me."
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And what's interesting about it too, and I think Hatsumi even notices, like when he raises his arm up, his feet stay completely planted. He stays completely footed. He's not moving, so he's trying to. And then
and then he's like, what does he say? Bando's like, "I see, you know, don't you?" And then you find out when Bando was arrested and he like was in bandages because his shoulders were inflamed, because when he's doing his like sweeping attacks, he's like constantly dislocating and relocating his arm muscle, his arm joints to do that.
Basically, it's like he's doing what Dhalsim from Street Fighter can do if it was real.
And harder. Yeah. And faster, because when it finally hits, it's an explosion. Everybody's looking like
nobody can see it.
It's like, what the hell's going on?
Well, most nobody in the audience can see what's going on.
Yeah.
His arm is disappearing.
Yeah, pretty much. So the fight, Hatsume's dodging around, and when they finally figure out,
that's right. Okay.
Cool.
Oh yeah, and then like Hatsumi like hits Bando in the eye, but like it seems like he's trying to gouge out Bando's eye, but he doesn't. Like he either held back or he didn't know how to gouge out his eye. So like you just see Bando's eye bloody, and then Hatsumi starts running into his blind spot and doing all of this other stuff.
Yeah, see what it looked like to me, and of course I kind of scanned through this fight because I was cramming this morning. But it looked almost like somehow Bando was able to stretch his eye back into his skull a little bit. That's what I looked at it as, and that's why it failed. It was not a misstep on Hatsumi's part. It was basically an absorption from Bando. And that's how I took it.
And I like how Muteba was like, he was doing eye gouges. He said amateur.
Yeah, he called him an amateur.
He can't gouge out his eye.
Yeah.
So we figure out pretty much it's like a whipping attack. And Hatsume was figuring out the range of how far can it go and how he can approach Bando without getting slapped. Because that was a one-hit kill.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's another interesting thing is because we actually see that Hatsume did some preparation for this fight.
Oh, no. And I like how he got popped. Hatsume got popped at the last second.
Yeah, and he went limp and to lessen some of the damage he took, and then you just see this cut across his face, and he's like, whew.
That was close.
Yeah.
He's like, damn, that was close.
I was like, I could have died just now. It was bad.
Well, I think he also says too, he's like, I'd be dead if I hadn't known about that ahead of time.
And I like the confidence in Hatsumi. He says, you're pretty much done for. This match was over when I was your opponent. And Bando was like, you talking a whole bunch of shit. He was like, nah, you're done.
Yeah, it's one of those you're dead and you just don't know it yet.
And the end fight, this fight was pretty much Bando swinging. And then eventually Hatsume got him in that arm lock. But
and then he gets him and then breaks the bones in his arm. And then he just flips him and drops him on his head into the ground.
What was the move? It was
like floating cloud. I think that's what it was.
Power's throw. The throw looked godlike.
Yeah, the panel of it was just
the
incredible.
Like he flips him with little to no effort and slams him on his head. Like that fight.
It was called 100 Meetings throw.
That's what it was. Yup. Yeah, it was a good end fight. Hatsume had it wrapped up. Like that was definitely some good shit. Definitely good shit on Hatsume. And then he was like, "You helped me get conditioned." Now,
you got me into full gear.
Because you see, he said something too. He said something about the fang. He was like, he helped me get like peak condition. Now I can fight.
This was another thing too. Is I went back and I'm reading through the panels real quick. They talked about how in the middle of this fight, like
Bondo was on like a manhunt, essentially.
Yeah.
Haro was like, he looks like he's cornering his prey or like something like that.
Yeah, that was definitely, it was good. It was good stuff on Hatsume's part to do research before he fought Bondo. I like to talk. He said, so you tucked your head in, otherwise that would have killed the normal person.
Yeah.
And he was like,
Bondo's like, I guess at some point in the fight, I was genuinely trying to win. And then he was like, can I have a rematch someday? And Hatsumi was like, hell no. You're like, you're a death row inmate. Is there even going to be a next time
for you?
Right.
That was a good fight. Hatsume was going ham.
One thing, too, is, again, I'm scanning real quick just for clarity, but when the next chapter starts with this ending this fight, it cracks me up how Bondo's like almost like doing a headstand.
Yeah.
Like, straight vertical.
Yeah. I was like, damn, this man is flexible. So we're getting to the end of this podcast for this session. The next fight, we don't get the whole fight. So we get to before that, we get to the room where Oma is. I forgot Oma they took him to the infirmary after his fight with Ryan. He's been in there since the fight with Ryan.
He got messed up during
no.
Yeah.
And then pretty much he told everybody that he said Oma can be old enough to be my kid and he's fighting for me and I can do his cheering moan. And he said, if you put yourself in danger for me too much, I'm gonna forfeit.
Yeah, he's like, we're gonna retire.
I was like, I almost not going for that. So we get another thing with a little bit of Hayami. He's got people stationed around. Something's about to go down on the island. And when you get to that point, you're going to be like, is something about to go down with Hayami because he has no more pawns. But because one of his guardians is like, we can just retreat now. And the one Long Ming was like, nah, we're still on. The plan can still go.
And then you see Hayami make that crazy smile. He's like, no, it's time for us to risk it all.
Pretty much, there's something about to go down. When you get to that part, it's gonna be dope. Something's about to go big. So the next fight, they said the best for last yet again.
Yeah.
God, this fight.
This is my favorite fight. Man. This is probably like my favorite fight in the entire series.
Bro, this was like an Okubo fight without Okubo. Because we have the Fang of Matsuno, Kano Agito. And then Saki was like, he overwhelmed Okubo and crushed him. I said, damn. But this ain't about to be no slouch fight. I like the panel. The panel of Kowlon coming out.
Yeah. Like his hands down, he's like in the hood and everything.
Yeah, it got silent though. Like it did. Kano came out, but it was dead silent for Kowlon. He got his hood up and they show like it's like black flames kind of sort of.
Yeah.
On the side and he's coming out in his hood. I was like, this fight. I wasn't expecting this fight. I said, ooh. And then you see Katahara and Kowlon, the
Rama the 13th. Yeah.
Like, well, he said pretty much was like, he said, no hard feelings to whoever wins, right? Yeah. No,
and it was like, you want to bet on it?
In the bet, and the guard, I like the guard's face when he sees, he's like, oh, is this enough?
Yeah, he's like, why is he betting this much money? Is he that sure that Gaolong is gonna win?
This is the Fang. Like, this ain't no slouch fight. And Kano turned up. You know, he made that goofy, scary face when he made it with Okubo. The fight even got started, and he made the face. And he told Sakuya, hurry up.
Yeah.
I can't.
His manner of speech changes and everything. He's like, I can't wait.
I was like, oh. So the fight pretty much starts out. We didn't get too much into it, but they go into stances. And
yeah, so Gaolong is in his hitman stance, and then Agito does the exact same stance.
Yeah.
And he gets mad, and then Kylon's like, he think this is funny. He said he took the same exact stance. He said, I don't find that funny.
Yeah, he's like, and Agito is like, I've always wanted to trade blows with you, and I want to beat you with your own style.
That's that Kano for you. So the fight starts out pretty much flickering. The flicker, pretty much little jabs with each other. They're going blow for blow, and then Kano, they both back up, get some distance.
Yeah, but then they start exchanging again, and Agito starts losing.
Yep. Yeah, you're not gonna go blow for blow with Kowlon.
Yeah.
You're not gonna do that. I was like, that's not gonna work. And then to the end, as we get to the end panel for this, closing this podcast out, we get to the part where and Kowlon nails Kano in the face. He said, "This is the moment I've been waiting for." And y'all used fist and just something like Kano's face getting disappeared within Kowlon's fist. And that was it. So you know the rest of this fight's gonna be a doozy.
Yeah. And then they start fighting again, and this time Agito's relying on his formless style, and he's losing. He's like, he has all of these choices that he can do, but Gaolong's ready for all of them, so every decision that he made was wrong.
Yeah,
so I'm excited to get to this part because I haven't got it.
When he gets to read it, I was like, "Ooh, this was the best fight."
Then I will say I was gonna end it on a different part. Let's end it there because the next part I was about to talk about is insane.
Oh no, they go. This fight was intense. If this was animated, we got to see that. If we got to see all these fights animated form, I don't know if Netflix could have done it justice. Like,
yeah,
I'm gonna trust Netflix on this one. And because I was really impressed with the anime. I mean, I know, Everett, you said you weren't as much.
Yeah.
As far as like animating the fights, though, I think they did about as well as one could do.
Yeah.
Yeah. With like the specific art style that they use with like the CG models and all of that, I think they did the best that they could.
Yeah, because I mean, there's so much in these mangas that I've been reading, especially with like Setsuna and Karoki's fight, like you would be hard pressed to do much better animating that than what the team over at Netflix did already.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see it. You know what I really enjoyed about this series so far. You know, because we're coming up on the end before we get into Kengan Omega. What I've really enjoyed about this series so far is this is another case of where, in my opinion, you know, the book's always going to be better. But this is one such case where, and it's a rare case. You don't find this often, but the movie or the series or whatever, a really good adaptation of the source material.
Yeah, they did really good.
Yeah. You know, I'm a nerd for crime and stuff like that. One of the best movies I've ever seen adapted from a book is Gone Girl with Ben Affleck and Rosamund Pike. This is very, very Gone Girl, where they took what was in the book and they threw it into motion picture or into motion, and they captured the essence of it as well as you can do without making a movie that's 6 hours long or making a TV show that's, you know, 36 episodes per season and you still don't even get everything.
Yeah. Like when they animate this, it will be, I hope they can do it justice. Like these fights.
Yeah.
I thought the first fights were intense, but they do these fights. Well, y'all, I'm glad y'all got to come hang with us. Like I said, spoilers. I told y'all that in the beginning. So if you want to watch it, go ahead. If you don't, straight spoilers. If you want to say you want to go ahead and hop in. But like I said, whoever watched, thank you for tuning in. Tim, thank you again, my boy.
Oh,
Everett,
always.
thank you again, brother. Like I said,
No problem.
always a pleasure, man, talking about Kengan with you. I can't wait till Tim gets on Omega.
Yeah.
Christ.
As long as I don't have to deal with no characters like Pickle from Baki.
Nope.
And I don't even want to talk about that character.
No,
it's still grounded for the most part. And you see it's just more people fighting other people. It's not like we're fighting some caveman that used to fight dinosaurs and stuff.
No. You ain't got none of them, but we do got some characters. We got some dope characters coming in.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
But hey, man, I appreciate you. I appreciate y'all. I enjoy doing this with y'all, this series. And until part 5, we'll be recording again next Sunday again, probably at 2 or 3. And tune in. Like I said, it'll be more spoilers for the manga. So I'm glad Tim is enjoying it. Thank y'all again for tuning in. Show support. Like, share, subscribe, comment on my page, Justin Anime Podcast. Check out the YouTube page. I got some more. I got the other part of the series on there. So check this one out. And until next time, people, thanks for the support and peace out.